I've just finished another project. It's been a while since I've done one. This one is based on some electronics that RobotHut showed a few weeks ago. It's an obstacle avoidance circuit made from two little modules that you can buy cheaply online that he mashed together and made up the circuit. I had all the parts, so I thought I'd give it a try. The mechanical stuff is all my design. I just started from scratch on even like the one-way wheel that allows it to turn. I'm going to show it working now. It's kind of susceptible to light. I think I might turn off some of the lights so it ambient light messes with the sensors. I use a lot of light to film with. It doesn't detect black very well. One thing you'll see is that if it gets too close to something, it'll just spin around and around. The reason for that is the circuit gets reset and it just continually turns. Like if I do this, it'll just spin around and, well, if I could have kept my hand in front of it. I don't know if it shows up, but I'll turn some more lights off. There's a rotating light in there. Not sure how well that's showing up. There's also, the blue is just from the circuits that, the obstacle avoidance circuits. I'm going to turn some light back on. It works okay. The ambient light does mess with it though. You might be able to tune some of that out. Right down in here is the sensors. The motor in it is one of these blue TT motors. I like the blue ones. They go a little slower. The two modules that you buy to make it work are these, I don't forget what they're called even, 298N motor control modules. That's the motor control module, and this is the IR obstacle avoidance circuit. It also takes a few other parts to make it all work. Sorry about the camera, wasn't good. I want to talk about the mechanical design now. Yeah, I don't do too good with glue, that's for sure. Glue and paint are not my thing. Some of you may recognize some of the features on this, or almost all of the features. It's from the way it looks is from Lost in Space, the Hunter's Moon episode. This is not by any means an exact model of that. It would be about this tall and it would be much skinnier, and this is just I wanted to design this to use this circuit down here. I may design a more accurate model of that in the future. But anyway, it's a real good episode of Lost in Space. It's basically the most dangerous game. Here you can see some inserts that you could put lights behind. This was a TV screen on the one in the series. The mouth, I've got that painted in. This is a clear insert too. Well, clear when you 3D print's not really clear. You could put lights back in there to for a voice, if you had a voice, or just some blinking LEDs, or color changing LEDs would be better. I've got this circuit in mind. This is something I built a long time ago, so I just stuck it in there to use it. It's like a lighthouse circuit. based on a Pickaxe 08M microcontroller, but you don't have to. I'm not even going to show the details of that because you don't have to go that route. It's driven off of 5 volts to a little step-up converter, LEDs, and a little mirror here. If you wanted to do something like this, you could just use one of the 4017 like Knight Rider circuits, LED chasers, whatever you call them. It would be much simpler to do. I think RobotHut showed some information on that. I'll try to find the videos and link to them in the description. So we got inserts, arms made in 2 halves with a little claw thing just glued in there. The arms are glued in place. I didn't make them posable. Just this stuff up here was probably the hardest part to design. Getting this little wraparound part and the cutout for the mouth. You can see down in there the insert. Like I say, I don't do too good when it comes to gluing. I really like the way this looks. I sized it for one of these, the clear things. So you could use that if you wanted to. I don't know what that looks like. Kind of interesting. But I like this is what the one in the show looked like. It's frosted. It's got this fan on the top of it for whatever reason. It's kind of a weird looking thing. The robot in the episode didn't have a name. I don't think. They just called it the computer, and that's what judged the most dangerous game type hunt that was in the episode. I will take this apart and show you what's inside. Obviously, I don't have this glued on. Probably not a good idea to glue that on either. It snaps on there pretty good though. This is made in one piece. Just color change at levels, at height on your filament change at different heights on your slicer. This was all black, of course. This was the same way as this. I just used a color change at height to get 3 different colors on this. Clear, blue knobs, and the red face. What else? A couple of inserts for the headlights. Down here we get to the meat of it. I'm going to unplug the... Oops, that's just stuck on there with tape. Double-sided tape. Not very well either. Take one screw, holds it together. It's kind of tricky to get in and out of there. It's a tight fit. I almost thought I'd screwed up and it didn't fit at all when I tried to put it together after I glued it all together, which can happen. Kind of pull it out kind of flat, and you have to put it back in the same way. And then straight down, like that. No matter what you do, something's always preventing you from doing it. These are the 2 wires that just provide the 3 volts to the circuit, the Pickaxe circuit. 2 AA batteries. Here are those boards. There's a little... One thing I did, when you get the board, they're 90 degrees, or 90 degrees to what they show, what the LEDs and the sensor are 90 degrees to what I'm showing now. I bent them out straight. You want to be careful when you do that. Don't break them. And this mess right up here, that's a transistor. There's a transistor. Here's the circuit. There's a transistor, a 10K resistor, and a 10 microfarad cap. Well, I used a 2.2 microfarad because that's what sets your timing. At 10 microfarad, it just sits there and spins for a long time. For whatever reason, on the one I've built, it takes a different timing capacitor. You probably have to adjust that. on yours. The 3906 is just a PNP transistor. I just used a generic PNP transistor that I had. I forget what the number on it was. It was just a bunch of numbers, 505, 811, or some crazy thing like that. But you can, I'll link to this schematic and everything, his original project, in the description. I'm not going to take it any farther apart. With just a 19 millimeters on center mounting hole switch down here. Like I say, it's turned into a mess, but if you wanted to make it neater, it would take a lot longer. I didn't really want to take the time to do it. This little lever here, well, let's talk about the one-way clutch first. He had designed his own one-way clutch with a couple of BBs, or overrunning clutch, I think is what it's called. I just decided to design my own. I knew I was going to build a body, and I wanted to make sure that I kept this all as compact as possible. He had his sensor laid out flat. I wanted mine to stand up, so I just thought I'd just design everything from scratch. Here we have a little hub in the inside, right here. And then four little, I think they're called pawls. Then the outer case here is just got little ratchet teeth in it. So when you turn it this way, they're loose. When you go back the other way, one or two of them will usually grab. Actually works better than you would thought. Here's the top of it. You put this on like this and glue it together, and you run a 3 millimeter screw through here into the TT motor. You can see it works. Okay. The little notches out here are what this lever catches on. Slips and then catches. That's this lever right here. You can see when it freewheels what it does. Freewheels one way and grabs this way. What that does is it stops this wheel from turning. It would turn. It would try to turn. I didn't try it with all the weight of this body on there, but when I was just testing it with the just this basic setup right here, it would try to turn. Just from the friction between the shaft of the motor and all this mechanism. I put a spring on mine just to make sure it didn't flop around too much. Not sure if it's needed or not. RobotHut didn't have a spring on his. It seemed to work. A little pocket in here for the LED and sensor to go into. I just got a piece of funky foam here to keep the two boards separated. This is more of an electronics project than anything, I think. So that's probably going to prevent a lot of people from building anything like this. But if you're into that, it's fun. See, if anyone be interested in seeing like a more detailed, accurate build, this is not by any means accurate. This just has the features of the Hunter's Moon robot in it. But if anybody was really interested in seeing that, let me know. I may work on it. I've got the video files in high enough definition, I think, that I can, as a source material, that I can build it. I really like the way it turned out until I started gluing it together and got glue everywhere. It's got some strange parts on it. Well, thanks for watching.